Hello guys! I hope you're as excited as I am to see that we are going to get a new mode. Finally, we will have a 1 versus 1 heads up in World of Warships Legends. I'm really excited because I think this is the first real skill-based mode. Hopefully they will not add the booster grind again. So let's expect this to be really one player against another player, and that's it. So you won't have any support from your division, from your teammates. It's only you and your ship against another ship and another player. So I think it's time for another, let's say, tips and tricks video how I will go into these heads-up games. And as you might have seen from my arena 1 versus 1 versus 1 versus 1 games, usually I killed at least 2, if not all 3 of the enemy DDs. So let me give you some tips of how you can survive this one here. Before we start, we have to realize one important thing and rule. The matchmaking will not mirror your ship class at any cost. Having said that, if you start in a destroyer, you can go against another destroyer, but you also can end up against a cruiser or a battleship. That means my tip number 1 is you should take a ship where you're confident to run against any class you will be facing. This tutorial now, or this tips and tricks video now, is from a starting point being a destroyer. As probably most of you know, I'm almost only playing destroyers, so I will focus on giving you tips how to play and which destroyer to play. Since we need a destroyer being capable to sink cruisers and battleships, we should take only destroyers with a range of torpedoes further out than 7 kilometers. I wouldn't choose any of the shorter range ones because you will have a very hard time sinking any cruiser with that. Battleships you can maybe suicide run, but cruisers you won't have a chance, because if you're trying to catch a cruiser, you have to be very lucky if he's on a run or circling you with short range torpedoes. So that's why I would forget about all the destroyers with very limited range torpedoes. Also, I would forget about the Pan-Asian, because these torpedoes don't hit the enemy destroyer. And personally, I believe that you need torpedoes against enemy destroyers, because if you manage to get only one hit, the enemy DD is almost dead. So you need to hit only once or twice with the guns on top, and then the enemy DD is gone. And don't forget an important thing. If you remember, when you kill the last enemy ship, it doesn't matter if the enemy has torpedoes in the water already. As soon as the enemy is dead, the game ends. Having said that, it doesn't matter if the enemy DD drops torpedoes, as long as yours are faster than the enemy's. So you're looking for fast torpedoes as well, on top of the range. Because if you're heads up to an enemy DD, you need to hit him faster than he hits you. And then again, you're looking for a good concealment and some okay-ish HP. And finally, you're looking for higher caliber guns, because you may end up against a cruiser and you're trying to get broadside and then penetrate him with AP. That works excellent with 120 millimeter and up. Especially the French are very excellent against any broadsiding cruisers on tier 3 especially. So as a conclusion, from my point of view, for the first season in tier 3, I would only recommend 2 destroyers. These are the German destroyers, the G101 or the V170, which are almost equal. Just one has a little higher HP and the other has a better, I think it's speed or concealment, something like that. So they're pretty similar. They have one major advantage. They are able to almost forward torpedo to any side. So whenever you heads up to an enemy DD, and I'm focusing now facing enemy DDs because you will spot a cruiser and battleship early on. But you have to be very fast and short reactive against enemy DDs. So this gives you an edge if you have forward pointing torpedoes from the German DDs. Even if it's only one, if you're clever, you can also get 2 out, one left and one right. But let's think it's only one, and you aim him very good. Then the enemy DD needs to turn to hit you with his torpedoes, while you just keep on going nose in, and probably have a high chance to avoid his torpedoes, and also are able to launch torpedoes much earlier than the enemy is able to do. And also the German DDs, they have a very good capability against cruisers and battleships. Also they have smoke, so in case you need to ignite a fire on a cruiser or battleship to finally kill him or trigger the damage control, this will help you out. So finally, my favorite is probably the French destroyer, and of course I go with the speed concealment, and as such this destroyer for 2.5 minutes has the best concealment in tier 3 with 4.2 kilometers, while the next is 4.4, so you will be able to outspot enemy destroyers and ships while you're in speed boost. And also it's the fastest destroyer, so you will have an tactical advantage. If you need to run from a cruiser, you can do this very fast. And also its torpedoes hit pretty hard, so you have 2 times 3 torpedoes, but they do a lot of damage, and they pretty much can sink a battleship with just 3 torpedoes. So if you miss 1 or 2 into 2 salvos, you're still gonna sink the battleship. So I think the French are excellent against cruisers with the high penetrating AP. They're excellent against cruisers with the high damage torpedoes, because 1 hit and the cruiser is almost dead. And yeah, they have a great concealment against enemy cruisers, enemy destroyers. So from my point of view, they have a slight edge over the Germans, but the Germans are also pretty nasty with the forward torpedoes against enemy DDs. Still, the French have the better guns, so, and the better HP. So I think I will go with the French, but you might also see me in the Germans. But those 2 are my 2 favorites. In my trainings today and in the videos today, I wasn't aiming to win the game. I was just aiming to kill the first ship I run into as fast as possible. I didn't care for any enemy teammates because I was training for 1 versus 1. So my focus was how can I kill the first enemy ship I run into as fast as possible. And only then I continued playing a normal game. But that is the reason why in the first 2 games I was killed pretty quickly, because I didn't care for any other ships. So I wasn't playing strategically winning the game. It was simply a training for the 1 versus 1. Just for a short explanation why I was playing a bit different here. So enjoy the rest of this video, and hopefully we're gonna see each other next week when the ranked season 3 1 versus 1 starts, because I'm really looking forward to see how everybody performs and how this will play out. I hope you all will participate, and yeah, looking forward to your comments. And if you haven't yet, subscribe my very tiny channel if you're up for some more advanced destroyer tips in the future. You may browse the playlists I have on this channel. Every destroyer has its own playlist, so you will find lots of videos And I hope you enjoy it and see you out there, and bye bye.